This is a cooperative game that takes place in a world with friendly colossal beings, but unfortunately these beings are being corrupted, which is making them very aggressive, and it's up to you and your team in order to free them. And the game's going to offer a whole bunch of different Leviathans provided in a spiral booklet, and there's going to be about 20 different Leviathans for players to go up against, each of them playing very different from each other, offering a different difficulty, coming in different shapes and sizes, and also coming with their own unique Leviathan deck. And players are going to be climbing and trying to reach different areas of the Leviathan to try and destroy the crystals that are corrupting them. But the Leviathan will retaliate at the end of each round, potentially damaging players or knocking them down to a lower area on the board. And the more that you climb around on them, the more that they will get agitated, so their threat level will be increasing throughout the game, making the retaliations even more deadly. And the first thing that happens each round is that you're going to be revealing the next card in the Leviathan deck. And each card has a few different actions on it that correspond to different threat levels throughout the game, and the action that matches the Leviathan's current threat level is the one that will get activated at the end of the round. And with that information, the players will know how the Leviathan will retaliate at the end of the round, giving the players some time to adjust their positioning or prepare for that incoming retaliation. Players will then take turns using cards in their hand, and the cards that they have will have an action point value as well as a special ability, and these are dual use cards, and you'll be able to choose which of those that you want to use. But at this point in the game, you're going to be using them for their action points, and you'll be spending those action points to perform different movements like climbing, descending, or jumping to different areas on the board. Or you can also use those action points to rest, which will refresh your deck of cards, putting your discarded cards back into your hand, because your cards also kind of act like your endurance, and if you ever run out of cards, you're going to be losing grip on the Leviathan and fall into a lower area of the board. But the catch here is that you can't rest wherever you want. You have to be at a spot where it's safe to rest, so you're going to have to make sure you have enough cards to get there before you're able to take that action. But the other actions you can perform are to heal some of your wounds, damage the crystals, or gather cubes in order to level up your character. But for any of the cards that you're not using for its action points, you can instead use its special ability, and you can do this at any point on any player's turn, and you can even use that card to help other players. I really like this because it adds more player interaction and encourages players to work together to get the most out of their actions. But of course, also doing this is going to make you run out of cards quicker, so you really want to be careful when you're using your cards. After all the players have played all the cards that they want, you're going to draw back up to a hand size of 5 cards, and then you can also level up your character by spending the cubes that you've collected so far. And then at the very end of the round, that retaliation card that we drew at the start of the round is going to get activated and affect any characters that get caught in the way. And then the rounds continue like this until either the players have destroyed all the crystals, freeing the Leviathan from its corruption, or if a player gets so exhausted that they can no longer go on, then that's going to trigger the last round of the game, and players will have that final round in order to try and save the Leviathan. And there's a really neat aspect in this game that causes players to get exhausted that I haven't talked about yet, and that is the way that the health track and the exhaustion track work together, because they're actually the same track. This track will actually have 2 cubes on it. One represents your health and one represents your exhaustion. And as you lose health, you're going to be moving that token over to the right, but then as you gain exhaustion, you're going to be moving the exhaustion token to the left. And if those 2 tokens ever overlap on each other, then that player is going to trigger the final round of the game. And as always, you can find links to this and all the other campaigns in the description below.